What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals. We're back with another app. The next video after this will be our top 10 movies of 2024. It's always one of our favorites. Kyle keeps a detailed list all year round, privately to himself. He likes to move it around. I mean, is it actually? I mean, I know, like, is it public on Letterbox though? Like, if I went hunting, could I actually find it? Or do you make it a private list?
I make the top 10 a private list, but everything
Smart.
I've seen in 2024 has now been public on my Letterbox.
What does that mean?
Just
So
everything
the list is public?
All of the 2024 releases I've seen are compiled into one list,
But you've ranked them to the public?
No, it's not ranked. It's just what I've gone through the year.
Oh yeah. I don't do that. I could. I don't. I don't even keep a little list of what came out in 2024. Don't give a bahootie. I like to sit down. I go to Movie Insider. I read through all of them. I make one big old document. I count out what I've seen, count out what I still want to try to see, and then I quickly try to get those in, and then I just start saying, all right, I think this is a contender. I copy and paste. I move them all down on the document, and then I re-rank them.
But you got Letterbox now. That's what it's there for.
I don't think that's as fun. I very much enjoy it. I like sitting down. Apologize for the glare. It's a sunny day here, even though it's cold, and we got snow. Look at that.
Good for you
but
guys.
I really enjoy it. I like seeing all at once. I don't really like tracking it during the year. I don't know. I feel like that would bother me in some way. I just like sitting down and really going through it all and being like, wow, I really saw that many movies this year. Dang, I beat last year, got more than the year before. This is awesome. What movies am I missing? What movies did I forget about? Like, I just really enjoy doing that. I don't want to constantly be able to go through and do it. I like kind of just popping in all at once and kind of remembering it in the moment and then ranking my list from there. And then I just start arranging and rearranging, and and then I'll make a list after that of my top 10 of the year on Letterboxd. But it doesn't sound very fun to me.
For me, I would worry about like forgetting what I've seen throughout the year, and then it would just make me question, like, did I actually love that movie when I first saw it, even though I don't remember it, like, throughout the rest of the year? Like, I need a visual throughout the year to help me, like, stew in all the movies equally and see, like, which ones I'm really, like, treasuring the most throughout the year. So that's how I see it. I mean...
Yeah, no, I don't forget because I read through all the movies that came out. And Movie Insider, great site, will list everything that came out, streaming, non-streaming, and just says, here's when it came out limited, when it came out wide released. So I just go through, mark them all, just copy and paste, type it, scroll, type, scroll, and then I just start moving and grooving. Thank you, Movie Meal patrons, Kimberly, Karen. The notes are... we're going to start with this Oscar shortlist. Kyle brought up to me that Black Panther 3 was confirmed by Feige. And I was like, Kyle, that's a non-story, my guy. You know why? Because Ryan Coogler's been talking about it off and on for a year. I mean, Denzel was just like, yeah, I'm in Black Panther 3. Like, on his press tour a week ago, he's like, yeah, I'm in Black Panther 3. We know Black Panther 3 is coming. It makes too much money.
It was just from the Feige man himself, so okay, that's fine.
Are you excited for Black Panther 3?
Well, if Denzel's gonna be in it, yeah.
Sounds like it might be an origin again, that we're gonna get a new Black Panther and Shuri's gonna pass on the mantle is the rumor.
Yeah, that would probably make the most sense. I wouldn't be shocked if that's like almost the final movie after those Avengers movies, and then like the quote-unquote reboot that we're speculating could happen after that.
Where it's really just focusing on Fox and Fantastic Four.
Yeah, like Black Panther gets like a big trilogy send-off type of thing. More so than starting something new. That's just my quick theory, though. I have no way of knowing if that's true or not.
All right, let's get to the Oscar shortlist. We haven't seen a ton of documentaries this year, so I think we can kind of skip those. I know Kyle wanted to talk about the Christopher Reeves documentary that is not on the short list, so I don't think that's going to be getting any noms.
That's unfortunate. It's a good documentary. Really good about his life throughout getting Superman the role and then post-acting career.
Just kind of peeking at the international feature films. A few of these I know I've heard a little bit about. I know Emily Pérez is one that's getting a lot of noms. Kyle wanted to talk about it. Looks like that's going to be an international feature. I know it's gotten a lot of buzz. Kyle, you want to talk about that now? I Haven't gotten a chance to sit down and watch it. I attempted to last night, but I was kind of wanting to do a movie where I could do other stuff with, and that's not a movie I could do that with. So I wanted to give it its full due diligence. So Kyle, what did you think of Emily Perez? From France. Oh, oui, oui.
I'm a little torn about it. Like, I do think there is some good things within this movie, which was a story that kind of surprised me with the turns that it took, because it's about a drug lord who changes his identity as a man to a woman, but he does so because it's what he feels is true to himself and inside, more so than just like him trying to escape from the law or whatever. But after that transition, in his new identity, she becomes more of a politician, but still like looking over her shoulder, as like her past is coming back to haunt her. So it is thrilling in those moments. Carla Sofia plays the lead role, and she does give a tremendous performance there. Zoe Saldana, I think, also is a very good anchor as like a supporting actress in that movie too. I thought Selena Gomez was fine. I didn't go head over heels for her, as I heard early on throughout the year. I thought Zoe Saldana was the one that gave a more meat-eater performance, in my opinion, but she was still very good.
I've only heard that Zoe is the gal.
Yeah.
That she's the top dog. I haven't heard anybody praise. In fact, I've only heard negative stuff about Selena, so I don't know where you heard that from.
I've been hearing more negative stuff recently for sure, but early on in like the award cycle and all of like that early buzz that goes on in the year, I was hearing her name pop up quite a bit. But I think as things are fleshing out more, it's becoming clear that Zoe is more of what everyone's eyes are on compared to Selena.
You think she'll get a nom?
Zoe? Yeah, I think that's possible.
You think she's the front runner? She your front runner right now for Best Supporting Actress?
I honestly wonder, after seeing Wicked, which I just saw over the weekend, if Ariana Grande could be the front runner.
I don't think Ariana deserves to be in that slot. I think
all?
Ariana and what's the other girl's name who plays Elfie?
Cynthia Erivo.
Yes, I think they both are leads in this move in Wicked, and I think if you move Ariana into supporting, you're pulling a Christian Bale here, and it's like, all right, we're going to give Ariana Grande an Academy Award or get her a nom just to get her there, butts and seats. She's a lead. I mean, she's in. I think screen time wise, she might be in more of the movie. Like,
it kind of felt that way. It almost felt like it was from
she's
her
in
point
almost
of view
every
too.
scene. Like, they're rarely apart. It's always the two of them for the most part. So I wouldn't. I don't know. That would be an Academy cop out. I think, to me, I don't think that's a supporting.
Probably a cop out situation. I don't blame you for suggesting that, but I just see that is where it's going. Personally, anyway,
and it very well could.
To wrap up Emilia Perez, I think there was some interesting ideas, and it's an ambitious story, and I think that especially when it comes to the visuals, such as like the blocking and the movements of the musical numbers, for the most part they pretty much stick the landing. I think there's one or two songs that I didn't really care for all that much, but for the most part I think the majority are very interesting to look at and can really hit home in terms of entertainment. But I think the story is a bit too stretched thin, as it's trying to jump from perspectives and different characters, to where sometimes screen time gets taken away a bit too much from some of the side characters being given a bit more time to be fleshed out.
Gotcha.
So I think the story is just a bit thin and a bit scattered, but otherwise I thought that Emilia Perez was impressive, but I wouldn't say it was a great movie either. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, moving on here. Short list: makeup, hairstyling, The Apprentice, Beetlejuice, A Different Man, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Maria. Maria's a movie I've had on my radar for a bit. Nosferatu, The Substance, Waltzing with Brando, and Wicked. It's probably going to go to Wicked. I wouldn't be shocked if Wicked not only nabs the a nomination, but wins the whole thing. I'd say they're the front runner there.
Wow. Okay.
Over what? Over what?
Well, I guess now that I'm looking through the whole thing, I really don't have anything that... I don't know. I think The Substance does some great special effects work in terms of...
I'm about halfway through it right now. About halfway through it. Boy,
but
my type of horror. I can't wait to sit down and watch the other half. I'd be finished right now. Kyle wouldn't like, hey, let's film. But oh man, I would love if The Substance not only got a nom but to one. But we're just, I guess, mainly talking noms. But I think Wicked is
Right.
the front runner in that aspect, especially when you're. I mean, maybe more so in the costume design. Maybe is where maybe Wicked might. They could split, and
Yeah.
maybe give makeup and hairstyling because that's not the biggest standout compared to the costume design.
I agree with that.
But you never know. Wicked might sweep, man. Wicked's huge.
Have you seen the image of the actor who plays Brando in the Waltzing with Brando movie?
No, I have not.
Maybe I'll try to send it to you because if it's the one that I'm thinking of, it's really impressive how accurate. Oh shoot, what's the actor's name? The actor from
Billy Zane.
Yes, thank you, Billy Zane.
Yeah, I mean, Billy Zane already looks a little bit like Brando, so.
Oh, I mean, I never put those two together myself, but I remember that image floating around on the internet for some reason, and I was really impressed by it. So, I don't know. It's such a small movie. Maybe it's not going to do much, but I almost wonder if that could sneak into the nominations because of that.
Oh, definitely. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Music original score, a lot here, so I'm going to rattle quick. Alien Romulus, Baby Girl, Beetlejuice, Blink Twice, Blitz, The Brutalist, Challengers, Conclave, Emily Perez, The Fire Inside, Gladiator 2, Electric Boogaloo, not the actual title, Horizon and American Saga Chapter 1, Inside Out 2, Nosferatu, The Room Next Door, Sing Sing, The 688, Wicked, The Wild Robot, Young Woman of the Sea. I have a hard time thinking that Wicked doesn't sweep musical categories, even for original score. I don't know if it's tough too. Original score is an interesting category for Wicked because Wicked, they did all of their singing live on set. And that was a big deal because most studios don't do that. I'm sure, even though they're all saying they did, I'm sure they went back and had to do a couple ADR sessions. But, that's still incredible and impressive. But it's, where do you add in the score to a musical? So I wouldn't be shocked if it doesn't win. Haven't seen Nosferatu. Gladiator 2. I don't know why that would get to be in here if Dune can't be in here. Why is Gladiator? They use some of the same scores from Gladiator 1 to Gladiator 2. It makes no sense that Dune Part 2 is not in here. That was maybe the best of the year. I loved the Brutalist score. I thought it was great. So I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, I would love for that to be there. Wouldn't be shocked if it was up there. Alien Romulus, I'd love to see. I thought their score was great. What do you think?
Well, I see Challengers, and immediately I'm saying
Challengers
had
a great score, yeah.
I know that it's not going to get any or most awards buzz as time goes on, especially when it comes to the Academy Awards. Yeah, which is such a shame because I think it's like one of the strongest movies of the year, and the score is a big reason for why everything comes together. And it's still one of the few scores of this year that still sticks in my mind personally. But so if that's like its one nomination, then hey, at least it got something, if anything. Conclave, I would also hope that the Academy could possibly give that a nomination to, because I do think it's pretty strong in that it helps set the tone of the movie. Yeah. Outside of that, though, Wild Robot, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen because it's an animated movie for original score. I don't know if that happens too often, but I just watched The Wild Robot, and just like how everyone is saying, including you, Alex, it's
should have saw it in theater. You made a big mistake. We're moving on because I don't want Kyle's rebuttal because Kyle gives the dumbest rebuttals.
I didn't really have much to add for it.
Music, original song. Yeah, no, Wild Robot is great, though. I'm glad you liked it. We've got Winter Coat from Blitz, Compress, Repress from Challengers, Never Too Late, Elton John, Never Too Late, Elmel, I apologize for any mispronunciations here, from Emily Perez, Mi Camino from Emily Perez, Sick in the Head from Kneecap, Beyond from Moana 2, Tell Me It's You from Mufasa the Lion King, Piece by Piece from Piece by Piece, Like a Bird from Sing Sing, The Journey from 6888, Out of Oklahoma from Twisters, Let's Go, Kiss the Sky, Wild Robot, and Harper Will Never Go West from Will and Harper. Yeah, I guess that makes sense that Wicked can't be here. They're not original songs.
Yeah.
So maybe that might amp up Wicked getting score.
Maybe. I mean, that would between it being like a musical that people
Yeah.
enjoy and it not being able to land anything for original song, that probably would be the way to make up for it. So I think that would make a strong case for Wicked being in the original score category.
Look, Beyond from Moana 2 was the best song,
Mm.
but boy, did y'all bully Lin-Manuel Miranda too much because he was missed on Moana 2. What bland songs. It is the
Ooh.
biggest issue with the movie. And I liked
Wow.
Beyond, and I liked some of the songs, but I wasn't walking away, walking in my car going, I've been staring at the like I just didn't nothing stuck hard. And it
Gotcha.
is because they missed Lin-Manuel. That is just an absolute fact. The only reason I want to see Mufasa is because of Lin-Manuel doing the songs after seeing Moana 2. I want to see if they're bangers because
Mm.
there's a reason he puts out nothing but bangers. When you reach that level of greatness, people have to do nothing but tear you down. So he was missed. That song has no business being here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, out of Oklahoma, give me a Twisters win, baby. Let's go. Anyway, you got any thoughts here, pal?
Again, I just love a good challenger's potential nomination.
Love it.
Emilia Perez.
Love it.
Again, I'm
Haven't
not
seen
surprised. It's I think it's going to get a lot of nominations. Don't know about a lot of wins, but at least a lot of nominations. I'm excited to see a possible kneecap nomination in this category. Alex, I don't even remember if I've told you about Kneecap, but that's a pretty good Irish movie about the real life Irish rap trio called Kneecap. And
What an absolute
the actual
Kyle move.
the actual guys of that rap trio were the ones that starred in the movie as well and actually did some acting classes. So
nice.
I didn't know that until after the movie, but I saw them acting and I was like, oh, it's all right. They don't seem like strong actors, but they're doing well. And then they would be rapping their own songs and they just were killing it. And it was just
Awesome.
such a, in biopics with like actors playing musicians, like they do a good job with like the transition from acting to like actual singing, but these guys were just like lightning fast to where I was having whiplash going, these guys have to be like legit rappers or something. They're doing too good of a job. So
Yeah, man,
anyway,
check it out.
Yeah, I really recommend. It has a great energy to it. It has an interesting backstory about some of the political landscapes involved in Ireland going on as this group was trying to like kind of fight the power in a manner of speaking.
Yeah.
And Michael Fassbender plays an absentee father, and he's great. So there you go.
That's awesome. I'll add it to my letterbox. Every year, Kyle's got a few movies he never tells me about until in the middle of filming or we're filming the final reaction because Kyle needs to seem like the savant that found some indie little movie from somewhere that nobody heard of that he heard on one podcast, gonna get a nomination, and then I'm just still sitting here singing Ain't No Love in Oklahoma, wanting to chase a tornado. And that's all. Kyle just wants to remind everybody how smart he is and how lame I am. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you.
Your tornado journey is much more cool.
Is
much
it
cooler than mine?
Yeah.
It is.
I'm sure.
Anyway,
let's move on here. We could skip animated shorts. I'm not sure there's many that we really have to talk about. I've heard of a couple of them, but haven't seen any of them. Same with the live action shorts.
I got nothing.
Sound should still be 2 categories. It's stupid. It's not. Alien Romulus, Blitz, A Complete Unknown, Deadpool Wolverine, Doom Part 2, Emilia Perez, Gladiator 2, Joker, Folly Day, Wicked, and The Wild Robot.
Oof.
I saw Joker on like Hulu the other day, and I was like, should I watch Joker? And then I was like, nah. Then I watched Smile 2 instead. But for sound design, which are 2 separate things, I think Gladiator 2 deserves to be there. I think Dune deserves to be there. I think Alien Romulus is great that it's getting a couple of these technical nominations because the movie's awesome and the sound in Alien Romulus is so freaking good.
Yeah.
Wild Robot, Wicked, I mean, all of these that I've seen, I mean, Blitz I've seen as well, and I thought Blitz, one of the best parts of it was its sound design. So I love these nominations. We'll hopefully see Emilia Perez soon here. Don't plan on seeing Joker. It's crazy that Joker was like an awards. First one was so good. This awards dominated. It's just crazy how bad that sequel ended up apparently being.
It's also just crazy thinking that Joker movie had as many nominations as it did.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good movie.
It's good, but I don't know. Again, like looking back on it, I just don't have the same amount of love for it or enjoyment of it that I did the first time. Like I just think less and less about it each time. So I don't know. It was just a crazy time back then. That's for sure.
Oh, that's actually a piece of news I want to talk about later. DC stuff.
Oh,
I did
okay.
forget about the rumor going around. I wanted to mention. I'm
Oh.
sure you've heard about it, but let's finish this shortlist. You got any other thoughts on sound?
I think this is Dune 2's. All of these nominations, like they're deserving, but they're also not like heavyweights in my opinion. But I don't know. Like you are right. Like Wicked sound is terrific. Same with Gladiator 2's. Like there's reason for them to be in this category. I just think Dune 2 is just so strong of a movie that it would make sense that I would see it being like the number one. Yeah.
I moved it. I don't know how loud it ended up being. I moved the mic far away. I stepped back. I scared the dog, but I just needed to let Kyle know how good that was.
No, exactly. So enough said.
Sorry, I didn't mean to actually cut you off.
No, it's all good.
Last one here. It looks like visual effects. We've got Alien Romulus, Better Man, Civil War, Deadpool, Wolverine, Doom Part 2, Gladiator 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Mufasa, The Lion King, Twizzlers, and Wicked. This is an interesting category. I'm glad Civil War's in here because Civil War,
me too.
I wish was getting more nominations in some of these, like Civil War, not for sound design. Now that I'm even just sitting here thinking about it, might be a bit of a travesty. Civil War is really good. Just came out earlier in the year. Yeah. Alien Romulus, I think, has incredible visual effects, but probably won't end up winning because they ended, the way they end is a little bit more practical than with just the other aliens. Deadpool, Wolverine. I mean, I think this is Dune or Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes to lose myself, but I could hear arguments for everything else. I'm surprised Twisters is in here. I thought they actually just filmed in the middle of a tornado. I'm a bit confused. Isn't Twisters a documentary?
I heard it was based on real events, so...
I keep threatening to move. I'm ready. Give me Glenn Powell in a truck and we'll go chase a couple tornadoes, okay?
You want to move to tornado country? Okay, that's a choice.
I think it'd be less stressful than teaching children, I'll tell you that right off the bat.
I mean, if they make more exciting movies about that compared to teaching movies, don't you think? So I guess there's something to that.
Are there even that many teaching movies that are actually teaching movies?
Not these days, no. Probably
these days.
Kindergarten
Cop don't count, Kyle.
Fair enough. I'll admit that.
Anyway, what are your thoughts?
Dune 2, again, is just the top tier choice in my opinion. I do also like seeing Civil War being brought into this category for at least a chance to be nominated. I think Deadpool and Wolverine is visually ugly, but that's just my opinion.
Stop.
It doesn't need to be nominated for visual effects. It doesn't.
Stop. What are you replacing? What are you replacing it with? In all honesty, let's have a little back and forth here. What would you replace Deadpool and Wolverine with in terms of visuals that's not already there?
I don't know. But are we thinking, does it have to be like a big budget movie? Since most of these are like visual effects, CGI.
Well, I think it's a visual effects category. I think saying that Deadpool and Wolverine visual effects is like truly bad is just, that's the wrong take. Like you cannot like them, but the visual effects in there wasn't Ant-Man, Quantumania. Those were worse than this.
Fine.
I'll back off
my wording of it. That was a bit harsh, but I just think it's not nearly as strong as like most of these other movies is all. So if it does get a nomination, I just will be very surprised.
You think to make it out of this to the top 5, you'd be surprised? 1, 2,
I would be a
3,
little surprised.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got to cut these in half. All right. So what would be your top 5 here?
I would throw in Dune 2. I would also throw in Planet of the Apes.
Absolutely. I agree.
You know what? I'll do Civil War.
You think Civil War, but like that would be your top 5 there? This is your visual effects top 5. You think Civil War is in there?
If I was voting, and from what I've seen, obviously. I might honestly throw in Twisters as well. Twisters and Wicked. Yeah.
See, I think Wicked, I actually think Wicked looks I would put Deadpool and Wolverine above Wicked in terms of visual effects.
Interesting.
And I think they both look good. Like, I'm not Kyle over here saying they look like turd water here. But honestly, A Better Man is interesting because it's a movie that we're just not talking a lot about here because it's not. Robbie Williams is not a big American pop star. He's one of those pop stars that never translated. I've loved Robbie Williams for years, not for his music, because I watched a couple of his interviews on the Graham Norton show back in college, and I was like, who is this guy? And then I listened to a couple of songs. I do like his music. He's not somebody I listen to all the time, but I think, and not having seen the movie, but for the fact that it's his life story, but he's a CGI monkey, I think is really interesting. And the fact that everything else is live action, it might get a nom like we have seen in years past with a Paddington, because you have the CGI character interacting with humans so much, like a Planet of the Apes. So I wouldn't be shocked if A Better Man snuck in there. I also think Gladiator 2's effects are fantastic. So my top 5 would be probably Dune, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I would put Gladiator. What's that? I got a 3 here. I think Deadpool and Wolverine will probably get in there. I myself would probably put Alien Romulus over it, but Deadpool and Wolverine will probably be a 4. And then it'll either be Mufasa to me or Wicked. Probably Wicked. But that'll probably end up being what it is. But if A Better Man snuck in there, I think that'd be great. It's a movie I do want to see because I do like Robbie Williams. I just don't think it's going to end up making it before our end of the year list. I'm trying to get to ones I think are real contenders, and I just don't think Better Man will be a contender for my top 10. But I do want to see it. I've heard great things. So, yeah. Any other thoughts there? Or should we move on?
Gladiator 2, I probably would switch out over Wicked then. You made a
Forgot
good
it was in there, huh?
Yes.
Gladiator 2, get me. If you just added Glenn Powell chasing a tornado in Gladiator 2, you got the manliest movie of all time.
Easily.
What are a couple movies you haven't seen that you're trying to hit before we get into anything else? Because I'm gonna see Sonic 3 tomorrow. Sonic 3 is a contender. All right, greatest video game movie of all time.
Visual effects. They're talking against CGI characters. It didn't make the short list. That's a short list.
I mean, it's okay. Sonic 1, I had a blast with. Sonic 2, I had a more blast with because they just keep adding characters. I grew up a huge Sonic nerd. I loved Sonic the Hedgehog. I love that. Like, all the students I teach love Sonic. It's the group that I think has loved Sonic the Hedgehog the most of all the younger kids I've taught, and I love it because I always loved Sonic growing up. I used to watch Sonic Adventures, all the old games, Battle Adventure 2, Sonic Riders, Heroes. So I'm hyped to see it. I'm seeing that tomorrow on my own. But I'm trying to go to earliest showing ever because it just didn't work out where I could take Autumn with me to make it not look as creepy, but I'm just going to have to do it because there's no other time to go. And she wants to see A Complete Unknown, and she wants to see Nosferatu. So we're going to go see that, I think, Thursday and Friday. Maybe Saturday morning before we film. We'll see for one of them. But I'm also watch Smile 2, knock that off my list real quick. Halfway through The Substance. And then I'm going to do everything I can to find a time. I've got the week off till Kyle and I actually are flying out next weekend together, both going to a wedding. Shout out to my cousin Kev going to his wedding over New Year's. So that did throw a wrench in it though. Made it
thanks a lot,
that
Kevin.
weekend, half that weekend when Kyle and I might normally film, like those a couple days Kyle and I had time to go rush to a theater and catch a couple more films. But there's a couple I really wanted to see that I didn't get to. A Real Pain, The Outrun, Nickel Boys.
Yep.
There's the Jude Law movie I really wanted to see that I've heard is really good. The Order, yes. I wanted to see that. Juror number 2 I'll catch before then. I know, Kyle, you just watched it. There's another one I just had. The September 5. Oh, man, I wanted to see that at the film festival. It just was opening night. Couldn't make opening night work, so I want to see that really bad. There's a couple I'm going to try if they're on VOD right now. I'm going to try to quickly snag, or if they're playing on Thursday or Friday in the afternoon, I might rush to go see on my own if they're playing like in the city or something. But what you got a couple there?
Just the 2 on the remaining release calendar that I know I can for sure try to see before the year ends is Baby Girl and Nosferatu.
Baby Girl 2 is one, yeah.
Yeah, odds are Nosferatu is the one I'll probably see first, and then that'll probably be when I'm able to make the top 10 list and record it with you, because I'm also traveling during Christmas, so I have no idea if I'll even get to a movie theater before we travel out for the wedding. So we'll just see how things go. Outside of that, you did rattle off some great options that I also want to see, but it's just probably not going to happen for the year-end list. Nickel Boys, you mentioned, you were able to see the
Sing
Brutalist
Sing
as
too.
well.
Sing
Sing
Sing,
Sing, I cannot
see.
find that anywhere. It's just not going to be
out
released. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with their release. Like, it's been in theaters, but also hasn't been, but it's not on VOD yet. So that one's been a bit frustrating because I really want to see that.
A lot of these movies are probably just sitting and waiting, and when the Oscar noms come out, they're going to drop all their movies in January and February again in a wider release. That's what they always do with some of these. It just gets tough. Yeah,
for sure. But two other titles are Real Pain and Queer. Those are two that I want to see this
Queer
year.
too. Freaking Queer, man. I want to see that too. That's playing right now.
Oh, I lost it. Never mind.
Sorry.
I thought I had a movie, but I just lost it. No, it's fine. It's all good.
That's my
but yeah, those are the ones that I'm hoping to catch up, even if we, aren't able to do it for the year of the end or end of the year list. So
yeah, but I mean, hey, we've still seen some bangers.
It's been a good year.
Kyle has put on the show notes about 1 million movies he's watched that he just has been dying to talk about. So Kyle, it's time. I'm going to just give you the floor here, pal. You already talked about Emily Pérez. You got a bunch else on it. I'll rattle them off. Start with Honora. What'd you think?
Banger.
Amen. Different man. What'd you think? Just go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I think early on,
it's one of the best movies of the year.
A few weeks ago, you talked about this movie, and you pretty much said verbatim what I would have said about the movie as well. I think that it's a great story about just the tragedy of someone trying to go through life and finds a way to not only have like a stronger value in life, but also just be able to have, love along the way. And no matter how much she tries to make that happen or make that work, she knows deep down that it's just crumbling around her. And while it is dramatic and sad in that sense, with a great performance by Mikey, it also is just very funny, which shouldn't be surprising from Sean Baker, because just like with his characters, he knows how to make the humor and the characteristics be very down to earth, maybe a little heightened when it needs to be, but not so much to where you think it's over the top or where it's not matching with the rest of the story that he's built out. I don't know if I would say like this is my favorite Sean Baker movie. I would still probably give that to Red Rocket, but this is still a very strong piece of work from him, and I'm happy that Sean Baker is getting the attention from the Academy by the looks of things. So
I don't know if it's my favorite of his either, but I do think it's one of the best of the years, and I think Mickey is the front runner for the Academy Award win right now.
And also just a great side performance from, I think it's Yuri Borisov.
Yeah, he's so good, man. I'd love for him to get a supporting nom.
I could see it.
Awesome. Honora's in some hot water right now with talks of not having an intimacy coordinator on set, and then it's been in a lot of hot water, and all the Sean Baker and Mickey and the other actor came out. Like all the actors who have come out in those scenes have been like, no, we were okay with it. We were fine. We did it the way we needed to. And then you have intimacy coordinators coming out in interviews with Variety, Hollywood Reporter, and all these guys saying like, well, they're not thinking about everybody else on set who might feel like they're watching something they shouldn't be, and like all this stuff. And look, I don't know what's going on. These are just interviews. You got intimacy coordinators who are making probably some very, very good points, but we're not involved with the movie. And we've got people involved with the movie saying one side. And I think we just need to relax, and, we'll find out more if more needs to come out. The movie is great. It seems like everybody loved each other on this set. It seems like there was nothing but great times and great vibes on a set with a movie that can be very dark. So, I wouldn't let that deter you from going. I think Honora is great.
Just give them a slap on the wrist. Remind them that at the end of the day, it is a job setting, and that boundaries need to be sure to be placed by someone in charge of those said boundaries. So,
and again, but we don't know. Maybe maybe Sean was the only guy on set during those scenes. It was 3 people, and they didn't have a boom mic operator, and they didn't have all this stuff. They just put a mic on the floor and said, "We'll catch what we catch." We don't know. So let's, we got to pump the brakes a bit on
Allow
what's happening.
Try to bring trust into people and allow a little bit of grace, even though I understand
Yeah.
how that can be hard, just with so many
And it
horror
can
stories
be.
coming out.
Yeah, no, for sure. You should have intimacy coordinators on your set. I'm just saying. Let's not just jump to conclusions of, Mickey may have been assaulted or anything. Like I've seen people say that and she's
Oh,
like,
sure.
"No, I've
Yeah.
been fine." Like let the people speak is all I'm saying. Take in everybody's
Yeah.
viewpoints. Different Man you saw. That's one I want to
Yeah.
see. Haven't gotten a
Yeah.
chance.
This one has definitely grown on me over time. It's about a actor who has a disformity on his face, but he's able to get a medical treatment done to him where he's able to look more conventionally handsome. So he's able to get better roles and better opportunities, and even in his personal life, from like relationship type stuff, he's able to have treatment that he wasn't having prior. But along the way, he also meets another actor who has the same disformity as he does, except he is more personable, he's more likable, like he has charisma, he's almost everything that the lead actor played by Sebastian Stan wanted to have with his facial transformation, but he still wasn't able to achieve. So it becomes like a comedy in a sense of just holding this grudge against this guy, even though this is his responsibility at the end of the day to improve upon himself even more and not just from his
Yeah.
physical features. So Sebastian Stan does a terrific performance. It's a very subtle performance, but and also very subtle comedy. But yet, I thought the laughs on it really stuck the landing and were big, despite it being more of like a psychological type of tone going on with the movie. And also the other actor, Adam Pearson, who plays the actor that he wishes he could be, the person he wishes he could be, also is terrific in this movie. They do such a great job opposite of each other. Just a very interesting approach to like ego and jealousy. So
Yeah.
it's
I
grown on
wanted
me
to
over
see it.
time. I recommend
I
it. It's pretty
watched
good.
the Hollywood Actors Roundtable that came out a couple days ago, and
Ooh,
Sebastian talked about it. It was good.
I need to watch
Also,
that.
I think it was USA Today or Variety. Somebody else is starting to copy Hollywood Reporter. They're doing their own roundtables. Well, it wasn't Variety because they do actors on actors, which is great. But like
Yeah.
Hollywood Reporter does the roundtables. Okay, let's leave it at that. Let's just
Yeah.
they do the best job.
hmm
Kyle also saw Dee Dee, another movie I really wanted to see. Never got a chance to go see it. What did you think?
Uh, Solid. I wish I liked it more, but I thought that it was still a pretty good
Mm,
coming of age comedy.
mm.
Um, I did like the aspects of it when it talks about just the subtlety of racism going on in like the 2000s, how prevalent it was to families of immigration. I thought the aspects of 2000s culture when it comes to the use of cell phones and text messaging and the culture of MySpace and of how exciting that is, but also how what's the word I'm trying to think of, but also how much it can hurt someone's development at a young age, like just the emotions of young love or the emotions of trying to find new friends but still keep old friendships, and how just the texting the wrong thing to someone or just having your anger lash out in a sense to where it becomes like cyberbullying almost, and how
Mm.
like the effects of those happen. I just think for some reason it just didn't hook me as much as I wish it did. But I think the one aspect that it did hook me on the most was the relationship between the young boy and the mother, because for how much they clashed against each other, like you just saw the love and the pain that they were both having in their own ways, that pain that a young child has and a pain that an adult can have. So, and how they're just able to
Nice.
relate to each other. So,
Interesting.
still worth a watch.
Yeah, it's on my watch list. I wanted to see it. We already talked about Emilia Perez. What about The Beast?
Uh, this movie was a big watch. It is a movie that was first released in France. You can see it now. Luckily, it's
It's on
now
Hulu,
available
I
to
believe.
rent on. Oh, you found on
Oh,
Hulu? I only
maybe I'm
found it on
wrong. I thought
YouTube.
maybe it was YouTube. I thought I saw Hulu, but
Man, I would
could
have
have been wrong.
saved
No, I was
$3.
wrong. I was wrong. No, I gotta
But
rent it.
it has a hefty runtime of like 2.5 hours, I want to say, but it's like a grand um sci-fi romantic drama love story, but it takes place in three different time periods that kind of illustrate how the struggles of love can be perceived at different times in life, but how the same overall goals in love are relatively the same. One taking place in like the early 1900s, where there wasn't much technology. One taking place in, I want to say, 2014, to where the technology boom that we are kind of experiencing at that time was affecting relationships, and then one in the future. And a lot of it kind of ties to the use of AI, for example, and that's very prevalent by today's standards, obviously, and like the dangers that can go into like using AI in regards to human emotions and stuff like that. So, very interesting. It's definitely not like a easy watch to sit through because there's just a lot going on and just a lot of meat to it. But I
Interesting.
really came out being impressed by that movie and keep thinking about it a lot. So I think
Nice.
it's one of the strongest movies of the year.
Yeah, what about Problemista? That's a movie that came and went. I wanted to see it, and it just came and went so fast I forgot about it.
No, for sure. For sure. That happened to me as well. But while The Beast was one of the meatiest movies I've seen this year, Problemista is probably the funniest movie I've seen this year. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, it's about a artist trying to make his way into New York, and it's kind of just about a hustling lifestyle of trying
Yeah.
to make it day by day, job by job, in order to keep like his immigration status, but also just be able to get a bigger job so that way he could be more set for life, but also set for life for his mother. And it's really funny because it does a great job at illustrating that hustling lifestyle in a personal and
Weird
emotional sort
way.
of way, but also weird. Yeah,
Yeah, I
also in a
remember the
weird,
trailer
quirky
being
sort of
weird
way.
in a good
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Julio Torres, who plays the lead role, he's a guy that I'm just learning about, but he's also a comedian as well. But he really does a great job, not just with the writing and the comedic aspects of this movie, but also does a great job directing it. Like in terms of
Yeah,
direction, I thought it was
that's
one
awesome.
of the most creatively directed movies I've seen this year. And also, I gotta shout out Tilda Swinton because she gives a performance that is just so grating but so hilarious because she plays like a Karen type of character, but in a New York City setting. So it's a lot of um, I'm trying to think of like the word for it, but it has a very she's a Karen character that is also very uppity in art and artistry type of levels that can be obnoxious and grating for a lot of
Hmm.
people, but still hit the mark for uh, being very funny. So that movie was very impressive. I really enjoyed it.
Nice. You already talked about how much you liked Wild Robot.
Mm-hmm.
Carry On, I watched last night. What'd you think?
I thought it was solid. A solid, fun, not action movie, but action drama in the light of
It's an action thriller, I would say, more than a
yeah,
drama. Yeah,
right.
an
That's a
action
better way to
thriller.
describe
There's
it.
plenty of
Yeah,
action.
yeah. I guess you're right. That would be a better way to describe it. Obviously, I would say like it's trying to be somewhat of a Die Hard type of movie. It's obviously never going to be Die Hard, but it's still an enjoyable action thriller. Taron Egerton plays a great lead role. Jason Bateman does well opposite of him too for playing like the villain character. But yeah, I was enjoying it. I had a fun watch with it.
After you watch Ozark, anytime I hear Jason Bateman, he just has his mannerisms that are just with his okays. He always has an okay in there at the end of most of his sentence. Do
Mm,
that for me, okay? Now
mm.
get up and go put your phone in the thing, okay? And it was like, I think Jason, it was a fun little action flick. I watched it last night. I was gonna watch Emilia Pérez, but again, I wanted to watch a movie, but I also had some stuff I wanted to do. So I couldn't watch that because I wanted to give it my full attention. So I put Carry On because I knew Kyle had been talking about it. I forgot Junior number 5 had popped, or number 2 had come out, or I would have probably put that on instead. It was fun. It definitely is a Netflix movie. There are some scenes and some dialogue that is horrifically bad to the point where I'm laughing. But that's part of the Netflix charm. Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman are above what this movie is, and that's why I think it ends up being fun. And you
Yeah.
have a good time with it. And I think some of the things that go on are a little loosey goosey, and I would be shocked if professional hitmen could actually do that at LAX. I would be extremely shocked.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing of all is we all know TSA agents are not getting together having some meeting where they all take their job that seriously. And they do take
Hmm.
their job seriously, but it's in a very different way than that movie, which just made it fun. Yeah, I had a good time with it.
I agree.
I wish Taron Egerton. I wish Kingsman 2 had been good. Because
What could have been?
he deserves to be serious, and I know he's been in contention for a lot of stuff. He was considered for Spider-Man. He was considered for
Wolverine, probably.
that's
Or
been a
that's the
fan
rumor.
thing, but there's
Oh,
another.
okay.
I know it's Bond. His name's been around for Bond,
Oh, yeah.
things like that. So,
Mm,
he deserves higher, stronger roles than an action Netflix
yeah,
movie.
I would say so too.
And then juror number 2, let's wait on because I'll watch it and we'll review it later. And we can because I am going to watch it this week. I probably will finish it tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll get to Wicked in a second, but let's do your Christopher Reeves documentary, Superman, not to be confused with the James Gunn trailer.
Right. It was a very good documentary. I thought that it was emotionally riveting, and I thought that it did a great job in shining light on him as an actor, but also as an activist and as
awesome.
Someone with hopes and goals, but also someone who came out of a rough family situation and made a better family situation for his children, who play big roles in the documentary, just telling the story about him and some of the ups and downs of his career and just of him and the loss of his ability to walk. So I'm glad that they gave the kids like a lot of spotlight to tell the story rather than just having so much, narration on top of it or something like that. But if you don't know a lot about Christopher Reeve, like I would just give it a watch because I think you will be impressed by how good the movie is and giving him a lot of credit for his acting work, his activist work, and for him just as a person. So really liked
Awesome.
it. Yeah.
So small, maybe potential spoilers in Wicked. Okay. Kyle, do you agree? Why on earth are we moving backwards? Why are we building a road when we've already got the train? Do you agree that that's ridiculous? Redonkulous.
Yes, but the Wizard of Oz is clearly a monster, so I'm not shocked.
That he wants to make people walk?
Yeah.
Are you Team Dorothy? Do we agree we take out everybody? Good.
Wait.
Good. Yep. Amen. And we stop there. All right, guys. Thanks. Kyle, what'd you think of Wicked? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it?
I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. I've never heard the musical, so I thought the music was great. Cynthia Erivo and especially Ariana Grande, I was very impressed by, not just by their singing capabilities of that level, but also just for the chemistry that they had at first as like antagonists of each other, but also just becoming friendship or forming a friendship, even though you still could tell like there was some butting heads more so from one side than the other, but it still made it for like an interesting dilemma, I suppose. So I really just liked that relationship that was there throughout the movie. Dancing and choreography, I thought were pretty good overall.
Yeah, they were great.
Runtime, I agree with you. Pacing is very good, although it is long still. Yeah, a lot of people in my theater, I could tell, were enjoying the movie, but yet there was just a lot of shifting, a lot of like there's some poor kids just like legs dangling in the air as they're in their seat just trying to entertain themselves because it's just that long of a movie.
The only time Kyle accepts children to be bored in a movie theater and to be moving around.
I'm with you, kids. I'm with you here. Like, but again, the pacing is fine, but I just think that I don't know. You can probably trim it somewhere, I suppose, but
you could have trimmed it.
Especially for this being like 2-part movie or whatever, that was just surprising by how long these movies are winding up being. So I don't really like it for that aspect, but visually, I think the visual effects on it are good. Although I just don't like that lighting that they were doing throughout most of the movie. It just looked too shiny or too I don't know. I'm trying to think of the word for it.
I didn't get that vibe.
It just comes a bit fake-ish to me. Not throughout the whole movie. Like there are some movies where it really nails like the lighting and the coloring of the movie, but for the most part, it just was too, I don't know, contrasty, I guess might be the word. But yeah, visually odd, but otherwise, I thought everything else stuck the landing.
You know, I didn't talk about this in my review, and I'll do it real quick because I got to get going here. Okay. We got a football game to watch here, people.
Let's go.
John M. Chu did an incredible job, and I don't think he's getting enough credit for how good the movie is because of Ariana we know Ariana Grande is a great singer. I mean, stop licking donuts, and I'm glad you have. But we I'll never forgive her.
I
It's
forgot about
horrible.
that.
It's
Yeah.
horrible. I think that's worse than Justin Bieber peeing in that bucket when he was a kid. Like what? What are we doing here? Why are you licking donuts at a donut shop? Those poor workers making below minimum wage, and you're out here licking their donuts and putting it back. What's wrong with you? Anyway,
the tens.
this movie made me like. I've never been a big Ariana fan after that. I'm gonna be straight. I've always had a sour taste for her. She does not have, like, I've only seen her act in Wicked and Victorious, and her range is she's the same character. I mean Galinda's the same character in Wicked, which is fine. She does a great job, and her singing voice is unmatched. I mean, she's got 4-octave range. She's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we're getting enough credit to John M. Chu. I mean, for how this guy made the Step Up movies, made Now You See Me, and got an opportunity with Crazy Rich Asians that popped. It's an incredible movie. And it allowed him to do In the Heights. And In the Heights, because of COVID, came and went. And it was big in our crew, but it wasn't. It should have been a bigger hit, because that movie was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to get Wicked, for it to be probably is going to end up as the biggest movie of the year in terms of box office, or pretty dang close. It's going to give him a lot more opportunities moving forward, and that makes me really, really happy for him.
No, I totally agree with you. I remember us talking about that for maybe our In the Heights review or somewhere around that time. Like, this guy's been putting in the work. Like, yeah, he's had a lot of opportunities with like big studio, big budget type stuff, but at the same time, it's also stuff like G.I. Joe and the Step Up movies. Like, it's not exactly, stuff that you want to attach your name to necessarily, I suppose, but no, he's really been putting in the work, and he's been proving himself to be a very capable director. And I was impressed by the directing in Wicked movie. It felt big, but also had big, powerful human emotions along with it. It kind of reminded me of Dune in a weird sense. Not obviously the same movie, but just in terms of feeling big and operatic, but yet having enough personal depth to it to where just about anyone can watch this movie and be able to enjoy themselves or relate to it in some way. So yeah, I don't know. John M. Chu, he's been on a great run so far, and I'm happy for him too.
Awesome. Guys, what do you think? Comment below, let us know. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.